So I'm gonna be making this so we can hit the upcoming quests. Remember we're doing the 80 to 90 one. So the 80 trips one, it's option one's 80 to 90. 80 trips, $295 in bonus, and the 90 trip is $465 in bonus. So that's pretty good initiative for right now. So I had a bit of prepped already, and it just makes more sense to just work through the example. So, let's assume, we're gonna do the 90 trip quest. That's the upcoming one for the, 10th, 9 to the 10th of the 11th, 2020. So let's just work through the example. But a few things we will be doing is we're gonna be assuming 3 trips per 1 hour, as well as when to do Uber. And we're gonna keep it to prime time and avoid traffic as much as possible. So I've included a lot of those already. So let's just get into it, and let's just go with the 3 trips per 1 hour. So if we're gonna do 90 trips, then how many hours do we need to drive, right? So let's just go the 1 hour, 3 trips. So just divide that by 3, and so we need to do approximately 30 hours. But that doesn't, you never get 3 trips. So for that, we're gonna be because in those it doesn't include if you end up far, as well as maybe getting your 6 hours back. So we're gonna be working through all that and how much you get, as you'll never really consistently get those 90 trips, so you don't need to be online. No, you can get really long ones that could really screw with your time and really eat up your driving time. So I should just right. Also remember, your driving limit is gonna be 12 hours with the Uber app on. This is gonna be your theoretical, but your actual it's gonna be your driving limit. It's gonna be your actual driving limit is gonna be more around I went through a few iterations of this, but let's see. Actually, it's gonna be more around 14 to 16 hours with the occasional one being more around 18 to 23 hours. Actual it includes just the Uber apps 12, since you could end up somewhere and it really would get into your driving time, especially if you turn it off somewhere. You turn it off, you drive back maybe an hour back to where you were, because you could be in the middle of nowhere, the pickups aren't going to be any good. So knowing this, you might need to go home and really sleep for around as you know, for this one, you really increase, you know, your danger, you know, accident. Yeah. And from those three, how many, you know, driving limits do we have? So, you know, you got 12 hours, 12 hours, and 6 hours. So we need to do 12. So for this one, we could do 2.5 Uber driving limit. All right, this is just all pretty basic stuff. You know, then 30 hours, 2 12 hours, and 1 6 hour. You know, 12 12 24, and then that one gives you, you know, this one gives you 24 plus your 6 can give you your 30, which is that one here. So, you know, that's 2 Uber driving limits. Getting into a bit more of the real numbers. So another one is sometimes you can only do 25 trips per your 12 hours. So in that case, you could have your 90 trip, you know, your driving limit be only 25 trips, and so you'd have to do 3.6 driving limits if you're only able to do 25 trips in those 12 hours. But if you're able to do 30, you know, 30 trips per day, then, you know, that one would easily get you 3. So let's say you did 30 trips in that trips in those 12 hours, so you get your 90 trips times your driving limit, and you would have to do 30 trips, and of course you would only need to do 3 driving limits. But remember, 12. So remember, 1 driving limit is 12 hours. 1 driving limit equals 12 hours. So that's the same thing. But now we're gonna put those numbers to test right there. So if you had 3.6 driving limits times 12 hours per, you know, your 1 driving limit, you would get 43.2 hours, which is a little bit more realistic. Because most of the times on Friday, approaching the afternoon, you would only end up 24 to 25 trips. And let's say you did 3, so you would have 3, you know, driving limit times your 12 hours. Of course, everyone knows this is going to lead, you know, it's easily going to be 36 hours, which gets a lot more closer to the assumed 3 trips per hour, which it doesn't. Your trips could easily vary for 25 to 30 in that one, and so we're going to be using those a bit more efficiently. So theoretically, from those 2 ranges, to hit 90 trip cost, it would be theoretical. it could either be from 36 hours to 43.2 hours. That's the amount of time spent, theoretical. It means that's the Uber app on. It doesn't take being offline and driving offline. Since you could end up pretty far. Remember, if you want to save your driving time, if you go offline, it doesn't count towards driving limit. This is important because if you end up 2 hours away, at this point, rather drive back and use few hours left, better to go home and rest or reset your hours. And this one you assume it happens towards end of shift. If you ended up 2 hours away, then by time you get home, you could have 4 hours left until 12 hours are back. If you wanted to, you could sleep 4 hours and go back. It would be better to sleep that extra 1 hour for your driving focus, then stick to schedule. So with all that being said, let's just go ahead and dive into the actual example that it just might click better with you. So we're going to do the example here. Okay, that looks like it's focused pretty good there. So we're gonna begin on Friday at 4 a.m. and we're gonna go to 9 a.m. and from this it's going to be 5 hours continuous driving, which means no restroom breaks or stopping. And then from we're gonna go from 9 okay to 9:30 a.m. I'm gonna take a 30-minute break. We're gonna go from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and that'll be 3.5 hours driving. And from two, we're gonna give ourselves a 1 hour margin to get home. Why 2? Well, at 2 p.m. traffic begins to hit hard. So we add all this time up. So we take the 5 and this is driving and the 3 hours driving. And that gets us to approximately 8.5 hours working. And this one could mean driving back when you're in the middle of working, or just driving to a place to park. So it really goes more around to maybe 9 hours away. And of course we gotta add the 1 hour driving time. So remember, we add that to here because this is when you know for sure it's gonna be hours driving. You could be driving more, but this is the bare minimum that you could be driving. This driving, and this is approximately what we call the morning to the afternoon shift on any other weekday. But it's because it's Friday, it begins to drive towards the afternoon. Normally on the morning shifts, you would maybe stop at 9, or maybe keep going until 9:30. But on those normal mornings, you might have to have gone, maybe taking a break at 97 or 8 because those would be heavier. So at that point, you've hit around this many hours, and maybe you got 20 or 25 if you were lucky. So you already know that it's 2 p.m. So, and let's assume you got home during that 1 hour. So let's go 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Those are your 6 hours reset. And why did I choose this one? I mean, I pushed it up for one, but this is the absolute most. It's assuming you actually got home at 2, because that's when traffic really does hit. So it seems you got that, but traffic eases up a bit. Or you could add 1 hour sleep up to you if you think you really need it, because you will be driving at night. So you got 7 hours. And if you want your 7 hours, that could lead to starting at 9 p.m. You could push it. Can go to 10 or 11. Because that would be 2 to 3 hours extra. But might be risking less trips when busy enough. Because at this point, some people still heading out. It could be the clubs, the bars, friends' houses. And usually from 10 to 11 p.m. they begin to leave, which could be pretty far. So from that, we're gonna work from we're gonna go from 9 p.m. to your 3:30 a.m. and by that point it's Saturday. So this is 6.5 hours driving use. And usually sometimes gets a little bit slower. Maybe the surge dies off by approximately this time. So we go from 3:30 a.m. to 5. Well, not really 5 right off the bat. Go to 4:30 to 5 o'clock a.m. But for this example, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna take an hour and a half nap. Remember, this nap is gonna be in car, because you do not have the time to drive back home. Only maybe spend an hour or 45 minutes to drive home, and it would just take too long. You have to nap in your car at this point. Slow. So at this point, you slept 6.5 hours, right? So let's try it. So we have 12 minus your 6.5. This is your total minus your used. Give you your left. So from here, you know that you got 5.5 hours left, and we started this at 5 a.m. and that's when it sometimes you get your occasional surge at that time. Out there going offline since they're walking through the night. So we go from 5 a.m. to, we're going to use the last bit of your time, and that's going to give us up until 10:30 in the morning. And that's solid. 10 to 12 a.m. traffic. 12 on a Saturday. On Saturday, you get traffic picks up. But remember, as you approach 10:30 a.m., you might get one trip to pick up with 2 minutes of driving time left. Could be 30 minutes approximately. So from a.m. to 11 a.m. Now reset pushed till 11, and you still gotta get home from there. Those driving hours, remember, driving time is time to pick up, which is why this can happen. You could have 2 minutes, and still get a 30-minute trip, because your driving time is the time that you use to pick up passengers. After that, of course, you've definitely gone over 2 minutes. So that's how Uber's driving time works. So by this point, you'd think, oh, my reset can go from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. No, nope. It's too much traffic. It's here is where you take your longer, well-earned rest. It's approximately half of the weekend done. So now we're going to be summarizing. So let's see how many theoretical hours we worked, which we will then use to see how many theoretical trips we did. So we're going to summarize here. Summary, remember, we did Friday, went from 4 a.m. to a.m., 5 hours, and then we went from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and that's 3.5 hours. So here, so for now we did 8.5 hours of 12 hours, or approximately 75% of your driving time. And of course, you reset, so because the night, so from that point we have our 12 hours back. And then we went from 9 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. and that's 6.5 hours. So from this we figured out that we have 5.5 hours left, and that's your driving time. And remember, from 3:30 to 5 a.m. was a nap. And that nap was no reset, so rest over. So remember, if we had a reset, we would have gone 2 hours back, but we still only have 5th one to work with. So that's how we figured out from 5 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And so we added the 30 minutes in case we had a long trip. So we would finish around 11 a.m. So with our 12 hours back, so like it's 12, so less than 12 checks out. So we use this one. So remember, this is when we got our 12 hours back, 6 hours and got 12 hours. Then that means we got this into this is the same 12. This the 12 hours before we used it, and this is the 12 hours after we used it. So by this point we've worked a full 12 hours from what's it called? So remember, this is this is Friday night. So for Saturday, so from the Friday night to the Saturday afternoon, we've done a full 12 hours. So remember, our 12 hours come from Friday night to your Saturday, and our 8.5 hours come from just Friday, from the morning to afternoon. So from that point we've worked 20.5 hours, and we assume with approximately 3 trips per hour. So we go 20 half hours times 3 trips in 1 hour, and that gives you 61.5 trips. So trips in 20.5 hours. And remember, we can easily check this to see how much weekend, because remember, finding the weekend total hours, we know it's from Friday 4 in the morning to Monday from 4 a.m. 24 hours times 3 means we got 72 hours total. So you saw minus our 20.5 hours from here. Got 51.5 hours minus approximately 20 hours for your sleep, nap, your break, your food, and eat. And you can have 31.5 hours left approximately. So we're going to take this one and we're going to break it down how we got that. So remember from that one. So remember, if you had your recap, remember from you did your 1 to 2 p.m. 1 hour margin to get home, and then from that we did from 2. Remember, this is all Friday. From 2 to 8, that's another 6 hours to reset. And then from, then from 8 to 9, we to have ourselves a 1 hour prep. It's another 1 hour. And remember, at this point, we are into Saturday. This Saturday, and we did from 3:30 to 5, and that's a 1.5 hour, and this is for the nap. And then on Saturday we did our 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. So we did our 9 hour. Right. And of course you could add plus 1 hour for an hour for your prep if you needed that. So you have this one, got this one, you have this one, so that's 10, and all this and some equal 19, 5 hours, and that is approximately close to 20, which we used there. So we're going to be moving on to that one. Right, at this point, we ended up with, we have 3.5 hours. It's left approximately. Remember? Approximately, and it's left approximately, and from Friday to Saturday, from 4 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday, 20.5 hours was used, with approximately 51.5 trips. That's how much hours we have left. So at this point, if in 20.5 hours I got 51.2 strips, then in 31.5 hours, in 31.5 hours, I can do another 20.5 hours, approximately 51 trips. Number 0.5 error margin, or extra extra rest or prep time. So at this point, you can therefore reach or surpass 90 to 100 trip quest. Also remember, when you got your 3.1 hours, that's approximately, this is here, by this point, it's on Saturday. So on Saturday you could do something similar. You could go go from 8 p.m. to 3:30, and this would be on a Sunday. And that is 7.5 hours. And 7.5 hours. And because 7.5 hours, so you do your 12 minus gets you 5.5, and then from here with the 3:30 to 5, we take a nap. So we do that. We go to 10:30 a.m. and that's being a Sunday. At this point, that if you use this up, this one went to here or here, so that's at that point it is so at that point do another reset and get back 12 hours. And then of course 12 hours times your three trips per hour. Of course you can do 36 trips. It's for those 12 hours. And remember here, from here to here was 12 hours. It could have been 36 trips. So you could have added that to your 61.5 trips, and at that point you could have got 97.5 trips by Sunday 10:30 a.m. And remember, from that one you do another reset, you get back, do another reset, you get back your 12 hours, and 12 hours times 3, you could do another 36 one. So you could do another 97.5 plus 36. Trips. But remember, it depends when you do your reset. That's your 12 hours might not count, because from here, let's say if 6 hours, we do it start at 4:30 p.m. Sunday. It's at 4:30 Sunday. We can't do 12 hours. We can, plus 12 will give you 4:30 a.m. Monday. But the quest ends at 4 a.m. So at this point, at this point 12 is not possible. You could only do 11.5 hours. But that doesn't matter, because at that point you would have already. So you can't do that. So you could only do that. So you could take away maybe minus you do 3, so take away maybe 0.75. So 132.75 trips if you really wanna get. Or this is a 132. But remember, at that point, you don't have to go that hard, cause by that Sunday, it could be, remember, at 10:30 a.m. you could be done, and you could do 6 hours, like I said, reset. But remember, at 4 p.m. theoretical, but you always give yourself a 1 hour margin. So you could easily get it at 5 p.m. but it's still too much traffic. So we get that from 2 hours to 3 hours. That's usually pretty good. And you can get that from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. I chose less traffic. You could also use this to prep. Prep includes drive to where you want to start. So you can actually start at this number if you want to. It could be an actual start. So you could begin at 8:30 p.m. But remember, you only have maybe 100 trip quest, and you've already done 97.5 trips. They were done. So you really only have 2.5 trips you need. And of course, we're assuming 3 trip per your hour. So you can be done in 1 hour. So from this, you can easily go to it's an ugly night. Can if you go to 9:30 p.m. you can be done. You've hit the quest. But when it's up here, we're going for a bonus. So from not there. Bonus. So from 10:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. on a Sunday. 3 hour. It's been lately, occasionally, people still leaving, or begin leaving the bars. But they end up being short trip, lots of time. And if you hit 100 trip quest, no need, you're done. And that's pretty much settles it. Be done. I hope someone finds this useful. you will have to buy food from outside. So cons quickly. There's no, you already know the pros. To pay in the quest. The cons, eat out, nap in car, eat out, nap in car, low quality sleep. You get low quality sleep and rest, and messes up messes up your chronobiology. Messes up your chronobiology, or that is, you're sleeping at night, because a lot of times you are working through the night, so you end up taking a little nap, and that helps a little bit, but usually it's gonna might hit you. Remember, might need to drink some coffee an hour into the start. So this is pretty much how what I end up doing. This assumes you're able to hit 3 trips per hour, but remember, if you can't, or maybe you can't, you could definitely go for the bonuses points at this point on a Sunday, and you could also keep working to the, you could keep more, if slow, keep working to 4 a.m. since you still have rest of 12 hours. You started at 8:30, so you can easily go from 3.5 plus 4. You could easily get so you could get 7.5 more hours if you go until 4. So if you go from 8:30 to 4, you get 7.5 hours. From 8:30 to 12, that's 3.5. Plus from 12 to 4, yeah, but that's 4 plus 3.5. So you get 7.5 hours. But I remember that's or 7.5 hours if go till 4 a.m. maybe minus 30-minute break. So more like no, not 6, maybe 7 hours, or 6 if longer break. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hope this wasn't too long, and maybe I will go around to editing this. But that's more or less the plan about how to be able to do the upcoming quest. And hope this helps people, and as well as the really negative effects, and why sometimes this might be worth it or not. It might be worth to do it one if you're going to take a few days off, and not really, and if you only want to do the weekend, maybe become only a weekend specialist, because even though it's hard, definitely you get paid more for driving less miles, or rather even, or sometimes close to the same amount of miles, but you're only driving, you're essentially going to be driving the same amount of times as you would the rest of the week, but you can make more than you would that in the rest of the week for pretty much driving the same miles. So it's more bang for mile, and this is pretty much done to counter the depreciation on your car, as even my car has your car's pretty much going to be worthless after this. So that, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I haven't gone on a ramble, and with that, I am gonna probably go get around to editing this. This is huge, so I will go get around to it. as well as the original planning, which a lot of papers, and this on and the solution is messy. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and call this done for right now.